Never dare anger her father. But he could make sure she never painted again. Sofia picked up a corner of her smock and rubbed at her stained finger. The paint was still wet enough to smear. She spat, rubbed, spat again until finally the yellow lifted. Her hands would pass inspection if Giorgio didn't look too closely. Fortunately, he rarely looked closely at anything.
"What the devil are you doing up there?"
Giorgio was barely able to gasp out the words. For the moment, she was safe. He didn't sound capable of making it to the second level, never mind the third. Giorgio was getting heavier by the day. One night he would fall to sleep on top of her, and then what? If she couldn't rouse Polina from her pallet at the foot of the bed, she would perish. "Forgive me, husband," she called as she ripped off her smock and smoothed her hair. God willing, she didn't have paint on her face. She took a last look at the painting. It was good, maybe even her best work. Would her father agree? He was a harsh critic. She stepped to the opening in the floor, placed one foot on the first rung, then began to descend. She reached the final rung of the middle set of ladders just as Giorgio was squeezing through the opening in the floor to flop, panting and sweating, onto the landing. She saw at once that he had not spent his day hunting boar or anything else save for a happy turn of the dice. Was that blood on his jaw? Had he been fighting again? How many florins had he gambled away with the sun not even close to the horizon?
"You must ask your father to help us,"
he said as he rose to his feet, still gulping for breath. "I wasn't aware we needed help." Giorgio balled his fists and moved closer. She smelled stale wine and put one hand to her nose. A slight whiff of egg tempera still lingered on her skin. Relief was making her bold. If Giorgio had not yet asked what she'd been doing at the top of the tower, he was unlikely to. He hadn't the wit to concentrate on more than one thing at a time, which was why his saffron exporting business was falling into ruin. They would be lucky to keep the house with its convenient tower past her 21st birthday.
"Go to your father and remind him of his duty to you."
Mud streaked the bottom of Giorgio's gown, and a purple bruise bloomed beneath the blood on his chin. "What duty, husband? You have the keeping of me, not my father." Sofia hoped the wretch on the receiving end of Giorgio's fist would not denounce him. They could ill afford the fine levied by the podestà for brawling. She squeezed past him and began to descend the last set of ladders. "Come for supper. Cook's dressed a cape on."
"I won't be ignored in my own house."
"Lower your voice. The servants." At the bottom of the ladder, Sofia descended an outdoor staircase, then crossed the loggia to the bedchamber. She heard Giorgio swear as his boots hit the wooden floor at the base of the staircase.
"When do you next go to your father?"
he asked as he lumbered into the room, still huffing. "My father's been busy for weeks completing a fresco at the house of Messer del Pino. He has no time for visitors, and I've enough to do attending to the affairs of your household."
"I demand you go to your father."
Giorgio fixed on his need like a hawk digging its talons into a squirming field mouse. She remembered how he had once fixed on her with the same persistence. For months he'd worked on his own father to make a bid for her hand. Old Messer Carelli had not considered the daughter of a painter, even one as well respected in the town as Antonio Barducci, a suitable match, but Giorgio had badgered his father until with poor grace he'd consented. Then Maestro Barducci himself made them wait several more months before agreeing to part with his only child. Sofia looked at Giorgio's boots, thick with the muck of the street. "I saw this morning that the tables in the workroom are empty," she said. "Have you dismissed the clerks? That doesn't seem wise."
"You dare tell me my business?"
"Your business concerns me when you don't have any." She'd pay later for her words, but the sight of the bare workroom had infuriated her. Since her father saw no need to give her money for the panels she painted for his patrons, Sofia had to depend solely on Giorgio to keep her household fed.
"You can't talk to me like this."
"I'd just as soon not talk to you at all." Sofia turned her back on him and walked through the open door to the loggia. The clamor and stench from the street below reminded her of the industry of the other merchants. None of them spent their afternoons